Well, welcome everybody to the Classic Tetris Monthly Masters Event July 2022. We've got the nice America theme to celebrate the 200-something anniversary of the United States. But July the 4th is already behind us, so now it just kind of looks very patriotic. Might have to... Soon we're gonna have to start hiring people to sing the national anthem for us. That's where we're heading. Yes. So wait. Yes, we have the red bracket at the bottom, the orange bracket at the top today, and we've got blue and green both play tomorrow. So should be a fun weekend. But for this stream, we are looking at the red bracket, featuring former champions Alex T and Fractal, and of course two former runners-up of the Masters Event Contributte, and Myles the Great. Alright, game number 1 of the Masters Event between Myles the Great and Fractal 161 in 3, 2, 1 Tetris. So this month's Masters Event getting underway between Myles the Great, Fractal, a two-time, I believe that's right, maybe two-time CTM winner, also the winner of Mega Masters, and won a lot of money doing so. Myles, a former finalist, lost to Alex T in some months ago. Don't quite remember when, but has made the finals before. Looking to maybe get his first victory this month in July. So yeah, so far, not too much to comment on. Myles with his third Tetris up to 71,000. Fractal with his fourth Tetris up to 91,000. Nice adjustment there from Fractal. Board looking clean. Can note about Fractal, he has been grinding a perfect transition as far as I know, so doing pretty well with doing absolutely no burn so far. Blithering Tripe, thank you so much for the subscription. Subscribe with Prime. You can do that as well if you have a Prime subscription. You can use it on this stream and it gives us money. 164 for Myles, creating a hole on his board. Fractal currently at 183. Myles probably hoping for... yeah, square works. Square into an S works perfectly there for Myles. Gonna get touch steady with that Lombard. Currently about 50,000 points behind a Fractal. Gets a Tetris though. 191 for Myles. 228 for Fractal. Myles has a nice roof burn on the cards, executes it perfectly, and with a clean board gets a Tetris, but so does Fractal. Fractal still in the lead by about 16,000 points, gets another Tetris. So Fractal with a hole on his board is gonna have to deal with that situation. Myles with some overhangs would have loved a pair of LPs, but gets a J instead. Didn't quite know what to do with it. Is just gonna opt to live with these 3 holes on his board. Still gets a Tetris, but now has to deal with this board. Yeah, Tetris ready once again. Uncovers the hole nicely. J piece to the left. Myles Tetris ready once again, and so is Fractal. Fractal with the Tetris goes up to 352, Myles at 340. So yeah, currently Fractal still with an advantage here in this game. Both players are clean. Fractal's left side Gonna fill it in with a T-piece and opt to solve the board with a roof burn. Works out nicely in the end. Both players are Tetris ready. Tetris for Fractal goes up to 405. Myles at 432. Pair of Lombards there for Fractal. Gonna use the second one for a Tetris. Right now it's very neck and neck, only 5,000 points separating the two players. Fractal hoping for a J piece. And opts not to create a Lombard dependency. But now, with the pieces given, it's created more of a mess. Fractal so far burning it down. Still has quite a few burns on the cards until he can access the hole at the bottom. Square piece would be perfect. He solves it nicely with a T and an L. Fractal's going to be clean. Myles taking an advantage here. 524 for Myles, 459 for Fractal. Fractal's clean though once again and gets a Tetris. 482 for Fractal. Went for a line spin clear there. Now it's created another mess here on Fractal's side. And Myles finishing off 18 very cleanly, it seems. 570 with 3 more Tetrises available. Love a 2-bottom at the moment. Square piece works. There's a Tetris from Myles, goes up to 594. Fractal currently with a center well set up at 493, looking for his final Tetris. Into level 19, gets a Tetris. Transitions at 518. Myles also into level 19 at 619, so 100,000 point deficit here is awaiting Fractal as we move into the higher speeds. Both players currently clean. Both of them also Tetris ready. Neither of them getting the Lombard so far, but there's a Tetris for Myles. There's a Tetris for Fractal. Both players on level 20. Still the 100,000 point lead from Myles and extends it there with a Tetris, but Fractal pulling a Tetris back right there. 573 for Fractal. 685 for Myles. Myles getting another Tetris, so far very clean post from both players. Still the 100,000 point lead for Myles though. Ooh, a misdrop there of the square for Fractal. So it's not at a height where he's usually going to have to start worrying about survival, but it's going to cost him a few more burns. And Myles keeping it clean. Another Tetris right there. 797 for Myles. 613 for Fractal. So Myles was on the way to set up a 200,000 point lead. Fractal's covered once again, and Myles had to do some burning, but Myles is clean once again. Both players are on the verge of being Tetris ready. Now both of them just waiting for some Lombards. There's a Tetris for Fractal. Goes up to 698. Myles waiting for the spar. Staying clean. Bar comes just as he covers up the well. Ooh, and then now a misdrop there of the T-piece from Myles and doesn't get the next J-piece over, so now Myles in real danger. Gets a Lombard over for a Tetris, but doesn't get the next J-piece over, so now doesn't get the Lombard over to the left and doesn't get the next Lombard over, so Myles is going to be done at 842. So Fractal 843 the score to get for Fractal. I think a Tetris will do it at this point. Myles, if you can, there you go. Tetris for Fractal takes the game. Myles, if you want to just like go in a game so I can fix your stencil, that'd be nice. But yeah, Fractal taking game number 1. Alright, both players are ready. Game number 2 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Alright, so we're off and running here in game number 2, Fractal with the opening Tetris. Myles with some complications on the board. Gonna get a perfect triple there. Now another J piece would be of use, and that's exactly what he gets. LRJ to fix the board, and Myles now Tetris ready for his first Tetris. Gets right there after 12 lines burned. 33,000 for Myles, 68,000 for Fractal. So 103 for Myles, 159 for Fractal. Myles there with changing his mind about that piece. Nice adjustment there to get Tetris ready. 129 for Myles, 159 for Fractal. Fractal now creeping up in height, but seems to be handling it nicely, but a misflip there of the J piece might be fatal. Fractal's done at 162. Oh my days. Myles, one more Tetris, and he's leveled up the set. Started getting high there for Fractal, and he was actually handling it without any issues, but then a misflip there of the J piece basically cut off his entire left side. And if the next few pieces weren't perfect, Fractal was going to be done, and that's exactly what happened. So Myles taking game number 2. So both players are ready. Game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Someone in the chat, and by someone I mean Pumpy, telling me about the sponsor quests and free coupon codes that you can use to help the prize pool. You go on the Matcherino if you're in the chat, !Matcherino. Get access to the website, and you can do free sponsor quests. Speaking of, wow, Pumpy Hard followed a sponsor on Twitter and added 20 cents to the prize pool, and someone redeemed a code which added and then Pumpy followed another person. Look at that! Pumpy is paying no money whatsoever at the moment. He's just clicking a couple of buttons and doing the sponsor quests, which is adding real money to the prize pool as we speak. So that was just solid 60 cents. Not bad. So far in this game, Fractal with that Tetris goes up to 114. Myles also at 114. Exact same score. So $183 for Myles, 161 for Fractal. Almost the exact same scores again. Both players getting Tetrises. Myles at 231, Fractal at 230. Myles now with a Lombard dependency over to the left side, decides to solve it by creating a couple of holes to get the well reopened. Decides to cover it up once again. But it's got to reopen. Now it has to deal with these holes. Got a Tetris right there. So the board is now at a much more reasonable height. And speaking of reasonable, I thought Myles was about to start setting up on row 6 or whatever that was, but I had to burn it down. 267 for Myles, 344 for Fractal. Scotty Ging just contributed 20 bucks. Thank you so much. And I'll tell you this one, I don't actually know the protocol with how much money you're supposed to give, at which point I give a shout out, but I don't know. Thank you to Scott. 377 for Fractal, 294, sorry, for Myles. So Fractal with a 100,000 point lead. Myles, though, does have his board clean once again. Game 1, it was Myles actually running away with level 18. Had 100,000 points lead going into level 19. But then a series of missed 5 taps was his demise. But this game, it's Fractal leading here on level 18. You can see right there, Dan just redeemed the code. Thank you so much. 471 for Fractal, gets a touch right there, goes up to 494. Myles at 331. Fractal had a bit set up. Gets away with it. Gets a touch right there. 516 for Fractal. 358 for Myles. So we are approaching the end of level 18. Fractal currently at 574. Myles at 454. Fractal with a dirty touch right there. Gotta get his right well reopened. Still has 2 more Tetrises available. Gets one right there. 622 for Fractal. Looking for his final Tetris. Myles now having a couple of troubles here as he's about to transition. Fractal meanwhile into level 19 at 646. But Myles here in some danger. Transitions at 480. Height of the board looked to be a problem, but Myles handling it without a sweat. And he's got his board clean. 491 now for Myles on level 20. Fractal with a touch into level 20 at 695. So Fractal pouncing out the opportunity, having quite a game here in game number 3. And running away with the lead so far. Now Fractal running into some issues, but an L piece there to the left can be crucial in burning this board down. Fractal Tetris 30 once again. Tetris for Fractal goes up to 755, 200,000 point lead to Myles's 551. Another Tetris there for Fractal, but a Tetris also for Myles. Myles playing well here. His problem currently is Fractal not relenting whatsoever. Getting another touch right there, and Myles going aggressive. Just hoping for this Lombard to appear, and it does eventually. Still needs to burn off a single to get his well reopened. Is not getting the 2 bottom to get it done. Gets the well reopened right there. Touches from Myles, goes up to 651, but Fractal at 879. Fractal making Tetris look easy here. 909. Tetris ready. Not even on level 25 yet. Myles meanwhile entering level 25 at 715. Fractal entering level 25 at 943. So the lead has only grown as we've Gone through post-transition here. Fractal 1 Tetris away from achieving 1,000,000 points here. Gets the 1,000,000 points into level 26. Another Tetris A40 here for Fractal. Myles at 779. Fractal just not stopping. Getting more and more Tetrises here. Myles is playing a very solid post-transition. With Fractal essentially having no let-up in the entire game. There's really not that much that he can do. Both of these players are well capable of playing beyond 29 though, so that's got to be the factor here for Myles if he still wants to win game number 3. But Fractal nearly got a 1.2, and he's still 2 Tetrises away. B86 here for Fractal, gets the Tetris. C20 now. One more Tetris to go until level 19. And Myles Tetris ready, but his left side is so problematic. Doesn't even get the lumbar over to the right for the Tetris, and Myles is going to be done at 875. Fractal gets the Tetris. Now on level 29 at C70. So we can see here what Fractal can do. Was a very solid game up until level 29 either way. So who knows if you can string a decent post 29 then. As I say that, tops out right before the 1.3. So what do you know? Fractal getting heart number 2. Alright, so both players ready. Game number 4 underway in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Okay, yeah, I didn't time that countdown very well. I tried my best. I tried to stall it out, but it wasn't to be. Myles setting up a pair of tucks here with his opening pieces. And it's getting more and more complicated. Tons of holes now on Myles' board. Fractal, meanwhile, getting the first Tetris without much of a sweat. But now, board looking quite peculiar. Gonna tuck in an S piece. T piece would be very nice at this point. I'm gonna set up a couple of delayed burns instead. So currently, Myles has been getting a couple of dirty Tetrises. Gets another one right there. 75,000 for Myles, 60,000 for Fractal. And Myles was almost getting his board cleaned down to a more orthodox setup. Actually has a column 9 Tetris set up right there. Gets it. 104 for Myles, sorry. 128 for Fractal. Myles there with a nice T-tuck setup. Gets the Tetris. Into another Tetris. 150 for Myles. 151 for Fractal. So despite Myles' troubles at the beginning, pretty even starts here so far. So 219 for Myles, 243 for Fractal. currently at the halfway point of level 18. And very neck-neck scores. Only 3,000 points separating the two players, getting simul Tetrises right there. Fractal looking for a roof solution. Oh, even lets that L piece fall for the next J piece. Very nicely done there by Fractal. Yeah, at the moment, really nothing separating the two players. 5,000 points in it. Fractal, though, don't think that was intentional. Now having to come up with some genius roof solution. It does need the right pieces to do that. So far, game not really obliging. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a sequence here for Fractal. It's going to take some time. Myles, though, in the meantime, creating a lead for himself. 425 for Myles. 372 for Fractal. So Fractal currently at 384. Myles at 473. 473. That's what I said. See, in this game, it is Myles who is running away with level 18 so far. 140,000 point lead. Was very neck-neck up until the point where Fractal got into a situation which all spawned from one missed rotation of the J piece. But now he's clean. Tetris ready as well. But does need Lombars. Gets it eventually. 434 for Fractal. 546 for Myles. Fractal transitioning to level 18 at 484. Myles still with one more Tetris available at 572. It's going to have to be good work beyond level 18 here for Fractal if he wants to take this in 4. Myles now underway on level 19 at 599. Tetris ready, waiting for the Lombard. Gets the Lombard right there for a Tetris. 623 for Myles. Fractal not quite set up for the dirty Tetris, but needs a Lombard nonetheless to burn it down. Gets a triple right there. 530 for Fractal. 626 from Myles. Myles gets a Tetris, goes up to 651. Fractal now opting to create a hole on his board. Decides to take the triple to burn it down. Now needs a J piece to tuck. Gets the J piece. Now Fractal with some decisions to make. How far does he want to burn it down before he wants to start building up for some Tetrises once again? Because Myles is running away with this game so far. 731 for Myles. Fractal at 578, and Myles also a full level behind. So we're looking realistically at about a 200,000 point lead here for Myles. Also getting a lot of Z pieces. Would have loved an S. But opts to create a hole instead. 802 for Myles. 611 for Fractal. Fractal is clean and getting the Tetrises, and Myles is currently burning. Now let's see what Myles decides to do. Very decisive. Setting up for the Road to Tetris is Myles. So the lead has shrunk just ever so slightly. Myles, though, finally gets the Tetris. Decides to burn it down. 851 for Myles on level 25. 712 for Fractal on level 26. So assuming that Myles can finish out post-transition relatively cleanly, it's going to be up to Fractal to try and string together a very strong post-29 if he still wants to take this game. 918 for Myles. 782 for Fractal. Fractal going aggressive here. Neither the JPs, but a burst of S's might be the end of him. Doesn't get the lumbar over, and Fractal's done at 782, and we are going into a decider here. Myles leveling up the set at 2-2. Now it's just one game to decide who will move on to the second round and into the money as well. Myles just playing this out. Alright, both players are ready. Oops. Game number 5, the decider in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. No, my timing was still off. I tried my best. But it's decider here. One more game to decide who will move on to the second round. Myles and Fractal, so far after 4 games, yet to find a winner. Fractal had the 2-1 advantage, but Myles pulled away sometime during level 18 and never looked back. And Fractal understandably was going ham in post-transition to try and catch up. But the pieces didn't oblige on level 27. And in the end, Fractal fell to his demise, which sent us here into this Game 5 decider. 69,000 for Fractal so far, 71,000 for Myles. Fractal was hoping for a T or a Z piece, but had to create a delayed burn with the S instead, but resolves it nicely. Gets a Tetris right there, and another Tetris for Myles. So 1,000 points separating the two players. Myles had a massive lumbar dependency, but resolves it eventually. Now an L or J here from Myles. Square gonna add to the toll of burns needed, but Myles got his well reopened right there. Fractal currently with about a 40,000 point lead. Makes a double into the single. Get touches ready. Fractal though waiting for this lumbar just for the S piece. Had to create a delayed burn, but resolves it with a single. Got a Tetris meanwhile. But once again now hoping for a lumbar. Has stacked up quite high here. And the lumbar is still not showing up. Gets the well reopened now. Could use the bar. Gets the bar right there. Only 2,000 points separating the two players here. Fractal, though, pulls away with the Tetris. But Myles answers back. 264 for Myles, 262 for Fractal. Fractal with a tuck. 309 for Fractal. Myles at 310. Fractal currently in the lead at 378. Myles had to do a bit of burning. In fact, is still in the stig. Fractal there gonna solve those holes with that long bar. Myles still digging. Almost with the well reopened though. 410 for Fractal. 348 for Myles. Myles currently hoping for a lumbar. Now needs a lumbar for the left side. 381 for Myles, 478 for Fractal. So all this burning recently has given Fractal quite an advantage here as we are approaching the end of level 18. Fractal though had a misdrop, so it's gonna cost him a few burns at the very least. Pair of Z pieces, not exactly what he was looking for, but handling it nicely so far now. 2 bottom needed for the right side. Z piece works. Fractal though still embroiled in the stig. Getting some good burns in now. That lumbar is going to be crucial. That allowed Myles to bite into this lead ever so slightly. Now looking relatively neck and neck as we are approaching level 19. Fractal there with the Tetris. One more Tetris available, currently at 519. Myles with 2 more available at 457. Myles though gonna Tetris there into level 19 at 482. Fractal with an immediate 19 Tetris up to 567. We're probably looking at the smallest deficit for either player going into level 19 so far in the set. So far, both players starting off their post-transition campaign strongly. Tetris there from Myles on level 20 goes up to 560. Fractal at 621. So a couple of Tetrises still in this here. Fractal doing some burning at the top. Looking for a roof burn. Beautiful roof burn there for Fractal. Needs an L or J though to reopen this well. Getting lots of Z pieces instead. Both players Tetris ready. Tetris for Fractal. Tetris for Myles. Still the 60,000 point lead here for Fractal. Fractal with that Tetris into level 23 at 691. Myles Tetris ready, gets the Tetris into level 23 at 658. So now only a couple of Tetrises separating the two players. Both players are clean and trading Tetrises with each other. 688 for Myles, 751 for Fractal. Another Tetris there for Fractal. Myles is set up, still waiting for the spar. Now the board is falling apart here for Myles. It's going to have to be a dig of some magnitude, but gets the well reopen. Has a square piece over to the left side, but resolves that nicely. Now into level 25 at 735 is Myles. 852 for Fractal. So Fractal pouncing on every opportunity to increase his lead. Gets a Tetris right there. 884 into level 26 for Fractal. 769 for Myles. Myles now was hoping for some T-pieces. One T-piece did show up. 804 for Myles. 920 for Fractal. Fractal gets the Tetris. 960 now for Fractal. 843 for Myles. Both players on level 27. So Fractal almost certainly going to be taking a lead here into the post 29. So it's going to be up to Myles to see if he can outplay the two-time Masters winner on 29, if he wants to take the set. It's now or never. It's the decider here. We are approaching level 29. 947 for Myles. A36 for Fractal has got the million points. Fractal entering level 29 at A40. Tetris ready, waiting for the spar. Taking some good burns, but still waiting for the spar is Fractal. Decides not to gamble his life on that Tetris. Fractal now on level 30 at A63. Myles now on level 30 here. Just got the million points on the dot. So both players are underway here post 29. It's advantage to Fractal here as he does still have this lead. Myles trying to survive. Both players trying to survive. Neither going aggressive for any Tetrises so far. Fractal there with a triple, burning it down. Has got the 1.1. BO2 for Fractal. A27 for Myles. Myles burning this down. Oh, Myles there with a misstep of the S piece. Slid another piece in there, but this board is now falling apart for Myles. And it's going to take some miracle for him to survive, but Myles is going to be done. At A45, it was a valiant attempt going all the way into level 33. But Fractal just too solid, too strong, and taking the game and the set in the decider. So, congratulations. Oh my days, bro. Out of this night, Jesus Christ. 20 gifted subs. Thank you so much. That just hit me like a brick in the face. My God, thank you so much. That is very kind of you.
Hey everybody, this is your old pal Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly, and I'm asking you to do me a favor. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.